All right guys, battle of the minis. In this hand, I've got the TaylorMade Mini Burner Driver. And in this hand, I've got the brand new Callaway Mini Driver. We're gonna test it in 3 categories. Off the tee in standard setting, off the floor in standard setting, and then we're gonna crank these 2 mini drivers to their maximum distance setting and see what they can do. I can't wait to see what comes out on top. I mean, first off, very different looking head covers. Like, we've got TaylorMade going for kind of the old school burner bubble driver type vibe, even with the old school shape of head cover, which I like the shape. I don't know if I quite like the color scheme in that. And then you've got the actual Callaway AI mini driver. This is almost a mini head cover of the driver, quite simply. This paradigm driver feels very much like a shrunken down version of the AI Smoke paradigm driver, where this TaylorMade feels like a very different golf club. It's not like a Stealth, or it's not like a H.I.T. It's its own club in its own right. As I mentioned, I'm gonna test these in 3 categories. They're both in 13.5 degrees, these 2 heads. You can get both of them in 11.5, but I've got both in 13.5 degrees. They both have movable weights, one at the front, one at the back. Now I've put them both with the weight at the back. So the TaylorMade has a 13 gram weight at the back and a 1.5 gram weight at the front. The Callaway has a 12 gram weight at the back and a 4 gram weight at the front. Head size, there is a difference. The Callaway is 340cc, but the TaylorMade is minier, smaller at 304cc. Price-wise, Callaway, they're both actually limited edition. The Callaway is £399, the TaylorMade is £379. Let's hit them off the tee first in standard setting. These are 13.5 degrees. Let me just have a quick look at the shaft length. Yeah, shaft length is identical. They're both actually in stiff flex. And there's not much other differences really. This is going to be a really, really good head-to-head. I'm going to go TaylorMade first off the tee. Okay, first shot with the TaylorMade. Nice, a little bit off the bottom, but absolutely straight down the fairway. There's a few things I want to test this on, not just distance, accuracy. Like, why are you putting a mini driver in the bag? Because you want accuracy. Something we're going to test in this video as well. Distance is definitely one still, because you still want it to go a decent distance. I was a little bit off the bottom, a little bit spinny. TaylorMade can do better than that. As I mentioned earlier, it's so different, this driver, this mini driver, compared to any other club TaylorMade have brought out. Like I say, it is a real throwback to like bubble drivers back in the day. Even the colouring scheme, you've got this kind of almost gold colour, and then you've got almost this kind of darker carbon on top. It's a good looking head, certainly behind the golf ball. I'm not sure if I'm a full fan of it kind of sat in my hand there. It's just, I don't know, it's almost a bit too old school in a weird way. But it's still packed full of technology, that's the thing. Right, we just need to strike it a little bit higher on the face. It's always difficult at first switching back to a mini driver after hitting normal drivers, because they do feel just a little bit different in your hands. That was better. It's a lovely golf shot. Right, I'm gonna get a bunch of, that's nice, a bunch of shots with the TaylorMade, and then we'll switch over to the Callaway. Okay, so this is the last one for the TaylorMade off the tee. A lot of them have been very straight. I just hit one rogue one that went left. But all in all, they're pretty accurate. Let's finish off with one more with the TaylorMade off the tee. Yeah, even that. I mean, that's pretty straight, isn't it? Tiny little pull, but it's fine in every fairway. Okay, so switching over to the Callaway AI Smoke mini driver. As I mentioned, it's a little bit bigger in size, 340cc. It just Looks like a shrunk down version of the AI Smoke. I personally, looks wise, this wins for me. It does look a little bit more modern, like just a bit more advanced possibly. But that's only looks, aesthetic. If you change the colour of this, it could look totally different, but how they've done it, I think is perfect. Right, I've got this again in the same loft, 13.5 degrees. I can't wait at the end of this video when I crank these two drivers down into power setting, what they can do. So I think I honestly think I can absolutely crush them if I get them in the right setting. Right, again, just in 13.5 degrees, looks wise behind the ball, it is a bigger footprint, but it just looks like a juniors AI Smoke driver. That's the best way of describing it. It looks like a juniors club. Oh, it's a good strike off the first one, but I've overdrawn it. That would miss the fairway, but it felt really good. That's better. That's the one. That is absolutely perfect. That's a weird one. I thought it was going to fade. Okay, let's go one more with the Callaway off the tee. Yeah, that's pretty nice. All right, then Callaway off the floor next. All right, guys, so the results are in. Mini versus mini. Like I say, I'm gonna put them in strong power setting in a minute, but in standard 13.5 degrees, nothing changed, weight exactly the same. This was the result. So if we look at the TaylorMade Burner Mini Driver first, 245 yards of carry distance, 261 total distance, spin rate just over 3,500 RPM, which is good, 14 degrees of launch angle, ball speed 153 miles per hour, and my club head speed with the Mini Burner was around about 106.5 miles per hour, okay? What was interesting with the Mini Burner, my dispersion was just that little bit wider from left to right, but a lot of them hit the fairway. I think the one that went miles left and one that just leaked a little bit too far right stretched that dispersion out a little bit, but all in all, a lot of them were very, 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 very straight. Callaway AI Mini Driver. Right, this is interesting. If we look at the data here, the carry distance on the Callaway was 251 yards, 6 yards longer, 7 yards total distance at 268, spin rate just that little bit lower at 3,500, launch angle almost identical, ball speed just a little bit faster, club head speed identical, 106.5 miles per hour with each club. What was interesting with the Callaway, I saw a very similar shot pattern. A lot of them were just either slightly drawing to the left of target line or almost going straight left of target line, but not by a lot. And if you look at the dispersion ring of the Callaway, it's actually a little bit tighter, albeit just a little bit left of fairway or left side of fairway. I would say that's how it just picked up that little bit more of extra distance, just that little bit of a pull, a little bit of a draw. For me, picked that little bit of extra distance up. But I mean, we're talking 6 yards. What I also did, I've hit both clubs off the floor. Now, what was interesting off the floor, we actually see the results slightly change. The TaylorMade Mini Driver was actually carrying further at 239 yards, and I'd solely put that down to the size of the head. I felt like hitting the TaylorMade off the floor was easier. It's a shallow head profile, it's a slightly smaller head. For me, it seemed a lot easier to hit off the floor. Now, that was a 239 with one really bad hit that carried about 215, 220 yards. So actually, I think the average would probably be even closer to what it would normally be off the tee. Spin rate, you can see there, 3,800. Ball speed, 153. So I think, generally, off the 4, the TaylorMade driver is almost exactly the same as it is off the tee. With the Callaway, a little bit different. This head size suits being on a little bit of a tee. When it goes off the floor, it's just that fraction harder to hit. With that slightly bigger face profile, I didn't feel like I could really get underneath the ball. That reflected a little bit in the numbers. 236 carry distance, so quite a bit of a drop off compared to off the tee. Higher spin rate, slightly higher launch. I was trying to almost lift it up a little bit more. And even in the Callaway, I hit one really bad one, similar to TaylorMade, that carried around about 215, 220 yards. I think if they were all hit good, those averages would probably be closer to their off the tee distances. I just think the TaylorMade was easier to hit off the floor. I enjoyed hitting both of them, I did. Personally, for me, I do seem to kind of edge looks-wise, feel-wise, performance-wise to the Callaway, but it is close, you know. There's not a lot in it. Next up, we're gonna have a little bit of fun. I'm gonna crank these down to their lowest setting, so 11.5 degrees on both. I'm gonna put the weight to the front, and let's see if we can absolutely rip it and see what total distance we can get out of these drivers. Okay, here we go, 3 shots each, power mode. The TaylorMade does have an advantage. You can crank it down by 2 whole degrees. So this is in 13.5 degrees. Well, actually, I didn't realize the Callaway only goes down 1, it goes up 2. Right, weight forward, low spin. I don't know, could one of these get over 300? I think it could, you know. Oh, not with that strike. Oh. I suppose that's the disadvantage. When you go for a shot, I mean, that's horrendous. When you try and hit it harder, you don't have as much club face to try and hit. Oh, that was a bad first one for the TaylorMade. The one thing I do feel like you can do, though, is swing it faster. Because it's kind of smaller and lighter, it feels like you can, like, you know, get it going a little bit. That's better. Might be a little bit high flighted. 108 miles per hour club head speed. It's in the 270s. Is it gonna get 300 total? Not quite, 293 total. Okay, one more, come on. 293 to beat. Oh, I don't know if I quite got every bit of it. Oh, it's a bit loose. 108 miles per hour club head speed again. No, it's going to be short. Okay, Callaway up next, 293 total distance to beat. As again, I've cranked it down, but only by 1 degree. Put the weight forward. It's not as heavy a weight, it's slightly lighter. Really, everything is against this one beating the TaylorMade. Apart from it's a bigger head, so maybe it's slightly easier to hit the middle. Right. Oh, it's a good direction, but I didn't catch it as well as I need to. Okay, not a bad opening shot, but it can do better. That's fast, that's long, that's over 300 yards. 109 miles per hour club head speed, absolutely dead straight. Oh, it's not quite got the distance. 286 total distance. I mean, I take that off a tee shot every day, but it's not quite caught up with the TaylorMade. 1 shot to go. All right, guys. Last shot. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like, leave a comment down below. Which of the mini drivers do you prefer? Can this get over 300 yards? Oh, there's chances, but it's a bit leaky. I think it's a bit too high up in the air, a bit too floaty. It's not going to do it. Guys, TaylorMade has done the Callaway on distance in power setting, but it's a close call on everything else. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.